For this exercise, you will draw some simple natural forms using cross contour lines to make them look three-dimensional. Look for objects that are just a compound of 2 or 3 forms, not something complex like this elephant yet, just a combination of a couple of your basic forms. Like this lemon is a sphere plus a cone, the other side's like a cylinder or a cut-off cone. So if you can find something with cross contour lines on it, so much the better. So here's a bulb of garlic. Now it's got a pretty simple shape overall. Maybe I could describe it as a big cone, or just like that lemon. It's like a sphere with a conical shape on the top. Okay, but also it has these lines that wrap around. They're naturally occurring cross contour lines. So if you can look for something with cross contours, pine cone, it's a cone, right? Hence the name. And then it does have cross contour lines that wrap around the form, and they're broken up by these triangles. You can kind of see there's like lines spiraling around, made up of these triangle shapes. So maybe it's a bit more complex, but kind of the same idea. I love seashells, so I have a lot of these. Same idea, simple, and then it has its own naturally occurring cross contour lines. Set up your objects as a little still life that you can look at continuously without needing to move. Then start looking for the basic shapes. So I see the seashell. It looks more or less like a cone, right? So I'm going to start out with the big basic shape. Kind of getting particular, but not worrying about getting too particular. I'm drawing very lightly. That rock is a round shape. I could even just start out with a circle and go from there. And I start noticing the bumps and lumps in the contour and how it's a little bit more wide than it is tall. So a little wider than tall. Make sure you keep looking at what you're drawing. And then this garlic, from this angle I see this round shape and then kind of a cone on top of it. You can set it up as a little still life or not. You might not want to have to worry about the relationship between the shapes. You could just draw one thing at a time, that's fine too. And then here, actually, from this view, that almost looks like a cylinder. I see this round shape, somewhere between a cone and a cylinder. You notice if you look at something man-made, it's going to be very regular. If you look at something natural, it's going to be more irregular. And I think probably a little more interesting. All right, something like that. Maybe I'll make this a little bit smaller in relation. Okay, so it's kind of a compound of this form and then this form. I'm going to start looking at the cross contour lines now. So those are the lines that go around the form. Now maybe I'll look at the contours or edges a little more carefully first. Anything natural is going to be a little uneven and a little irregular. That's what makes it beautiful and interesting. No two are the same. Try to tune into the particularities of what you're drawing. If I want to compare the proportions simply, I can hold my pencil and it helps to close one eye. I can compare the height to the width. So that was 1 tall to 1.5 wide. So 1 tall to 1.5 wide. Okay. This looks like it comes up a little bit taller. You keep noticing more as you draw. Okay, so now I'm going to start going into the cross contour lines. So on this shell, there's these cross contour lines. These are elliptical shapes. And then there's these that are kind of wrapping around this way. If you're not sure, you can follow it with your pencil and see how it curves in space, kind of air draw it. Try to really, really wrap the lines where they go underneath of something. Keep looking around at the cross contour lines. Take your time. This is sped up now. You want to really, really look, wrap your lines around the edges of the form. Don't go on autopilot. Make sure every line you're looking at what you're drawing. That's what's going to make your drawing feel real and like your particular unique experience of what you're looking at, not just someone else's idea about things. So just keep focusing on observation and using lines to create a sense of form. Every time you're going to draw a line, look at what you're drawing first. Keep it real. Keep true to what you're looking at, that particular unique object, your particular unique experience of it. You'll see as you accumulate more lines, it begins to become almost like a kind of a shading, and it gets darker where more lines accumulate. That also helps give the sense of form. We'll talk about that more in future lessons. Just try to observe really carefully. Ideally, you'll find something with cross contours like garlic or shells, but if you can't, you can find another simple natural object. Draw the basic shapes first. So here's an oval and a cone. Then I'm going around the contours more slowly, observing the unique characteristics of this particular lemon. Then I'm going to go around the cross contours. So some of them are on there and some of them you kind of just have to slowly trace with your pencil around, wrap your lines. Imagine how that line is going to travel around the shape, just like the lines did on the shells or the garlic. This was about a half-hour drawing. If you have more time, then you can put in more detail and it will show in your drawing. But your care and your attention to detail always shows in your work.